Welcome back to InhaleGamesHQ. You can call me COMM, and today, as promised, we're diving beneath the surface of Season 19 Ignite, so make sure if you haven't yet to go check that video out, or assuming that you have all you need to know, and as excited as you are for Conduit and a new Storm Point, you're here for the patch notes and some massive change that have me excited, and also massive sag. So let's get into it, starting where we always do, with the map rotation. Broken Moon, Olympus, and Storm Point are locked in for this season, but while we're talking about the maps, they've actually made some major tweaks for a few of them. Olympus with a bunch of bugs and rat spots removed, including the exploits to get underneath the map. For Kings Canyon, though not in rotation, also see some rat spots fixed and some holes in the world between Relic and Caustic treatment. And then for Storm Point, they fixed some rat spots, as well as added 2 new maps to Mixtape based on the new POIs we got this season. But moving on to our system changes like crafting rotation, care package rotation, gold weapons, etc. Starting with our crafting rotation for Season 19, it has the RE45 and 3030 come back onto the floor, and the R301 and Volt go in. This is why I'm big sag. Just one of my favorite loadouts with a whole damn video dedicated to it, but I digress. Anyways, Boosted Loader has been removed from crafting, as well as Digi-Thread Optics, but they've added Hammer Point rounds instead. Our care package rotation sees the L-Star return to the floor and the Wingman go in, with their individual tweaks of course. For the L-Star, they removed the Disruptor rounds on it, reduced the projectile size, improved the recoil pattern, reduced randomness in the early part of the recoil pattern. The damage has been increased to 17 from 16, and it gets a barrel attachment to improve/match other weapons. As for the Wingman, a new hop-up Skull Piercer Elite ignores all helmet headshot damage reductions. The boosted loader is automatically attached to it, and the base damage has been increased to 50 instead of 45, with its projectile size being increased and 110 ammo. Care packages in general now will also have one weapon at all stages when they drop throughout the game. Our gold weapon rotation has the Havoc, RE45, Car SMG, L-Star, and Longbow checking in as gold for this season. Really quick, I'll mention the boosted loader has been removed from the floor entirely though, and the 1 damage reduction from putting on a turbocharger has also been removed. Something pretty big to change to the core systems, however, is our respawn system. When we respawn back in, we'll now keep our shields and weapons, but with a few caveats. The body shield and helmet level are preserved, the knockdown shield is reset to white, backpacks are removed, and the inventory will contain some ammo for your 2 weapons, 2 syringes and 2 shields. And like I said, you'll get to keep those 2 weapons, though all attachments for it will be gone, unless it's a red tier weapon. The replicator, ring console, and survey beacon spawn rates should now also be even across all POIs. And that moves us on to the weapons and legends. The 3030 repeater hipfire spread has been increased. The bowcheck bow has faster initial draw speed, a select fire button now to toggle it into the Shattercaps mode, and they've tightened the Shattercaps blast pattern. The charge rifle with its recent rework sees another tweak to improve its bullet drop ballistics and increase the projectile size. For the Hemlock, the damage has been reduced to 21, was 22. The longbow damage increased, projectile size does seem to be the theme, and lastly we have the Sentinel, also increased amp shot projectile size. Our legends see a few changes, notably our most prominent ALGS legends and top picks, Bangalore and Catalyst. So starting with Bangalore, the double time has been reduced in duration to 2 seconds, was 3. The smoke launcher smoke lifetime has been reduced to 18 seconds, was 23. And the rolling thunder stun duration was reduced to 6 seconds, was 8. Looking at Catalyst, their piercing spikes will no longer block projectiles at its core. The max in-world count of these spikes will now just be 2 instead of 3 spike traps, and the throw range has been decreased by about 50%. Their Dark Veil cooldown now starts after the wall fully comes down, and the lifetime of that wall is now 24 seconds instead of 30. So some big changes there, but some smaller ones here as well. Looking at Pathfinder's passive insider knowledge, it should now allow you to re-ping a care package that a teammate has already pinged. Wraith, for her voice line passive that alerts you when someone is looking at her, it's been reduced and should feel a little bit more reliable. Newcastle's Wall has reduced recovery time on landing and increased max leap height. Revenant Shadow's reduced aim assist window when in this mode to 3 seconds, was the full 30 seconds. Additionally, they've also added some vibration support for the shadows and when the shield kind of breaks and takes damage, as well as improved vibration for the pounce. Vantage's Sniper now gets an extra bullet sitting at 6 here instead of 5, and Rampart can now pick up their amped walls when in placement mode. We're just about at our quality of life and bug fixes. Remember, everything is timestamped down below. And while you're down there, if you've enjoyed this video, learned an Apex fact, heck, drop a like, and let's move on to our game modes, specifically Mixtape, Map Rotation, and Ranked. For Control, Caustic Treatment and Lava Siphon maps are out, and Barometer, Production Yard are in. For Gun Run, Skulltown and Fragment are out, low-key thank goodness, and the Core and new POI Watson's Pylon are in. As for TDM, Fragment and Habitat are out, and the Phase Runner and new map Zeus's Station is in. In Mixtape, assists are now awarded for the assisted kill by all teammates in the modes where multiple squads are fighting together toward a goal, so TDM or Control. This brings us to the part of the show where we all sigh and say it won't work, but here we go again, into Ranked for Season 19. Let's check out the changes. In Season 19, players will enter a promotional trial state where they reach the peak of their tier. During a trial, LP losses and gains are frozen, allowing the player to focus on the trial. Completing the conditions of the trial within the given match count limit, either winning a game or completing an alternate challenge, will allow promotion into the next tier with a 250 LP promotional bonus. Failing to complete the trial within the match limit results in the trial ending and a loss of LP based on the player's performance. Trials are time limited to 5 matches, increasing by 1 game each time a player fails and then re-enters the game trial, up to a max of 10 retries. Promotional trials are skipped during provisional matches. I'll show some tables here as you can get into the different brackets, what your kind of additional challenges will be, and as you reach Diamond to Masters and stuff, it's actually just getting that win. There is no alternative route, as you can see here. But additionally, they increased the amount of rating bonus given to help players' ranking catch up to their skill bracket. They reduced the bonus that is withheld and thus the difficulty of climbing when the players are actively pushing against their skill ceiling. Provisional bonuses are adjusted to land players closer to the expected statistical 1.5 tier drop at the end of their 10 provisional games. And ranking difference restrictions for 3-stack pre-mades have been removed, so players will now be able to play with friends no matter where they are on their climb, with the caveat that the squad will face more difficult battles and there is a bigger discrepancy between your skill. Guess we'll just have to see how this goes down, but let me know what you're thinking, and that does bring us to some quality of life improvements. You may have already noticed, but they just wanted to confirm, they've put in place an anti-cheat notification that you will, or again, maybe have already seen that blank has been removed from the game. That's just the anti-cheat working. They've added an off-screen portrait setting. In the firing range, the blue Nessie stays hidden for now, but a new challenger has appeared, in red here you can see. They've implemented additional security measures, improved the PC controller support, so controller input will no longer be processed when in a different window, and added native support for PS4 and 5 Bluetooth connected controllers, which I'm excited about, so players who have been relying on Steam input for that can now disable it. For pings, they've added when pinging an enemy, you can double click it, and this will actually place a ping that will allow you to reply with an OK, hold on, and wait ping, which is kind of cool. They've also localized the audio on the base game package for PlayStation, so users with the preferred language can now download a free language pack. Just note the in-game text is not affected by this. We then dive into our final list of bug fixes, which they've kindly started to separate into sections, so starting with the general section here, they closed an exploit that allowed players to survive ring damage longer than expected using the Phase Runner on Olympus. Death boxes can no longer fall into unreachable areas or lava. Heat shields can no longer stick to tridents. Heat shields no longer provide protection above them on higher ground. Holster weapon UI no longer appears when healing outside the ring. Knockdown shield effects no longer remains on while spectating. Longbow's Dawn's Awakened skin no longer has visible barrel with scopes. Nemesis's Demon's Whisper skin no longer obstructs player's view. Provisional badge icon restored on ranked match summary screen. Rarity display now updates after equipping from store on pack opening. Resolved occasional UI array index error when out of range. Revenant now faces the direction he's shooting in third person view. Skydiving into and exiting respawn dropship will no longer propel the player along with it. Squad sorting now consistent between HUD and inventory. Swapping to lower tiered armor after taking damage no longer requires refreshing the death box. For our graphics category, they fixed squad animation poses sometimes ghost slightly on each other. For PC, they fixed Intel Arc graphics cards defaulting to suboptimal video settings. They fixed issue with low resolution textures when using adaptive super sampling. And for PC DX12, they fixed occasional bad triangle rendering on AMD cards. Moving on to our audio bug fix for the season, they resolved a rare case where the system would actually prioritize certain sounds and just kill other ones at incorrect times. Looking at our legends, for Loba, her tactical is no longer cancelled when thrown into a tower near containment. Mirage, they've resolved an issue that switched weapons would break your cloak. For Rev, digital threats now highlight enemies after they've been highlighted by Rev's passive. They fixed cases where enemies were not being properly highlighted. Highlight no longer interferes with other Legends highlights, and highlight now applies to Mirage decoys. Watson, her fences now collapse when the round ends, preventing ongoing damage audio in post-match screen. And Caustic, they've restored shield crack to voiceover in German. But that's basically it here, squad, so of course I'm excited for cross progression, holo spraying while diving into a new map with a new legend, hunting that sweet loot and that glorious dub, but diving beneath the surface here to see how some of the system changes, weapon meta changes, rank tweaks, and specifically that respawning in with, you know, all of our stuff, how that's going to really change the core of the game moving forward this season. So I'm excited as always to bring you the Apex facts, and I hope you enjoyed here. And hopefully you have something new to tell your friend during your next session as you get that day one dub. But as always, I appreciate you for being here. Stay safe, stay gaming, and let's ignite. COMMs out.